In the previous segment, we did some reading and we read up in the treble clef here. Now we're going to do a little bit of reading in the bass clef, and we're going to apply those principles that we've learned about intervals. So a landmark note that I need to have you review is the F in the bass clef. Sometimes we call the bass clef, which is this shape here with the two dots, we also call that the F clef. Now the neat thing about this is that these two dots surround a special line here, and that special line is F. So if you can remember bass clef or F clef, that's very helpful. That F will be below middle C. So here's middle C and F is right there. So if you know that F is here and you go from a line to a space, you know that's a second going up. From a space to a line is another second going up. And now we're going from a line to the same line, and you know that that's a unison or a prime interval. So you're going to repeat that note. So it will sound like this. F, oops, wait a minute, let me make sure you can see that. F, G, A. And you're saying, wait a second, I don't know the names of those notes. So let me do it another way. I've asked you to know that name, F, up a second, up another second, and it's a repeated note. So in theory, you really don't even have to know the names of those notes in order to make this interval exercise work. Let's try a couple of other examples. So I'm going to start here, and we're going to put a note that's on top of the staff, which we can do. That's frequently done. And so let's figure out if we know these intervals. So we're going to start on F. We're going to go up a third, line to line, down a second, and up a third, space to space. And you're saying, wait a minute, how's that a space? If it's sitting on top of a line or it's sitting below a line and doesn't have a line going through the note head, and the head is just the round part, it's considered a space note. Let's try one on middle C. So as you may or may not remember, middle C has its very own line. It's called a ledger line, this small line right here. We're going to do C, and we're going to make a couple of notes from C. Let's just do that. Okay. Actually, let's come back down because I'm doing the bass clef here. Okay. So we're going to start with C, and we're going to go down a second from a line to a space note. From a space to a line is down another second, and from a line up to a space is another second. So you didn't have to know these notes, but you had to know your starting note, which was C. Let's review those landmark notes again. So we looked at that one, and we looked at that one, and in our last lesson we looked at that one, so let's review that one again. So we've learned that this is an F below middle C, and that is the line that goes between the two dots. Then we learned middle C, which has its own ledger line, and it's always a little line. And then we learned in the last lesson G. The G clef wraps around that special line as well, and that's the G line, and that's above middle C. So we know these three notes. If you know those three notes and you know your intervals, you can figure out an awful lot of music just by the contour, whether the intervals go up, whether they go down, whether they're unisons, seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, or octaves. Good luck. I hope this helps your reading.